Well, welcome back, everyone. How did the neo-Nazis murder and bomb across Germany for a decade without being caught? Well, it is a question that has haunted intelligence agencies this week. Revelations have shocked the country. A neo-Nazi cell is suspected of killing 9 people, bombing businesses, and robbing banks over the last decade, and the police couldn't catch them. We begin our coverage with a look at what is known now about the far-right scene here in Germany.
Official figures suggest there are some 10,000 militant far-right extremists in Germany. What unites them is their veneration of the ideas and figures of the Nazi era, including their racist and anti-Semitic ideology.
The entire financial structure of this Jew republic is going to collapse in the next 2 years.
Far-right groupings have changed over the past few years. Skinheads once dominated the image of the far-right scene. Nowadays, many neo-Nazis dress more conventionally, partly as a way of avoiding detection by the authorities.
Their numbers have not increased, but the criminality, the criminal energy is getting more intense. So is the readiness to use violence. It's a worrying situation.
These images from a few years ago in the town of Wismar show how, for some neo-Nazis, police and cameras appear to be no deterrent. These extremists show little regard for the police escorting an anti-fascist protest march. The situation threatens to escalate. Small, loosely organized neo-Nazi groups have started to appear, calling themselves autonomous nationalists. Estimated to number around 5,500 in all, they're considered to be especially violent. The numbers may not sound like a lot in a country of more than 80 million, but has the government underestimated the danger they pose?
The threat that these people pose has never been underestimated. That's why there have been a series of bans issued against groups on the far right. There have been raids and entire arsenals of weapons seized. This means the threat level was recognized, but nobody was aware of a right-wing terrorist group.
One organization that has long been under surveillance is the far-right NPD. It's a legal political party active regionally and nationally and has sheltered neo-Nazis who have a violent past, including Patrick Wischke. He was recently promoted to the NPD national executive despite having a criminal record. His crime, inciting a bomb attack on a Turkish fast food restaurant.
Well, the government has now said that it's going to re-examine the possibility of banning the NPD. Well, changing the law is one approach to combating the far right, but what about changing hearts and minds? Exit is an organization here in Germany that tries to persuade neo-Nazis to reconsider and reset their lives. How do they do that? Here's more.
This building in a Berlin suburb used to be home to the Falcons, a left-wing youth organization. A few days ago, it was torched and burnt out. It's still unknown who the arsonists were, but the Falcons suspect right-wing extremists.
Since the 1980s, we've had the problem of the Falcons being a target for attacks by right-wing groups. That's meant cars being set ablaze or people being attacked. We've had the usual messages left in our letterbox, or even found the letterbox was destroyed.
The Falcons are used to right-wing violence. It's a phenomenon that's becoming more frequent. A development confirmed by a former neo-Nazi who managed to leave the scene through programs like Exit.
Violence was accepted as a means to achieve political ends. Violence was also used. People were armed, defensively. There were also attack weapons, and some people were known for an inclination to use them. They had the idea that they were carrying out the revolutionary battle at a different level, using force.
Bianca Closa works in a mobile advice centre on right-wing extremism. She's often warned of the increasing threat level. Her team tried to prevent the situation from spiralling out of control, but they face a constant battle to keep their projects financed.
At the end of every year, the projects that have been deployed against right-wing extremism and for democracy face the possibility of being terminated. That's why the people working on those teams are partially retraining.
Klose and her colleagues feel they don't get enough recognition. They see their work as protecting democratic structures in Germany. The former neo-Nazi says the right-wing terror cell discovery shows how well organised the scene is.
There has got to be a certain level of organisation behind it, like renting apartments. These people are not acting alone.
Both the former neo-Nazi and the Prevention Project agree no one should have been surprised by the hate crimes and murders.
Well, Daniel Köhler is a member of Exit and a researcher on right-wing violence. I asked him how successful his organization really is and how he persuades neo-Nazis to change their lives.
Generally, you can say that compared to other programs designed to help former right-wing extremists to leave the movement, Exit Germany has been very successful. So from the beginning on, since the year 2000, we have about 400 completed dropout cases. And I think that the main reason is, first of all, Exit Germany is a private organization, non-profit, and we take them basically seriously. We stay with them as long as they want to and as long as they need us, and we help them with everything we can.
You know, we've heard some German officials say that they didn't underestimate the threat posed by right-wing violence. What's your assessment?
This statement is simply not true. For years or more, for decades, special circles like from science and from practical organizations definitely stated that there was the potential of right-wing terrorist acts. The structure were there, the people were there, the ideology was created to fit such acts. And the potential for crime or for violent crime and for terrorist acts is still rather high. Statistically, in Germany, every day, 2 violent crimes with right-wing motives are committed. And if you look at past acts like the bombing of the Munich Oktoberfest 1980, or in the beginning of the 90s in Rostock-Lichtenhagen or Mölln or Hoyerswerda, you can see that the potential always was very high.
What do the authorities need to do to combat this threat? What have they not been getting right?
The communication between the different security agencies was definitely not right. But I, as a as a member of a practical organization, I can say that the support for civil society organizations dealing with that kind of problem or helping right-wing extremists to leave the movement, which is what I think the best way to seriously damage their ideology, you should just step up the support, especially the financial support for organizations like Exit.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it up there. Daniel Köhler, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Well, dealing with the far right in Germany, that has been the focus of our in-depth. I'm Brent Goff in Berlin. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for the company, and have a good weekend, everybody.